But let me talk about charity. Let me talk about Africa being a charitable continent. Africa being a giver of charity, not a recipient of charity. Now, hello friends. I think that last time we stopped on a quite controversial topic that some people are reaching out to me and saying, you said America needs charity. And I want to say, yes, America needs charity, but it's not only America, the whole world needs charity. Africa needs to come to a place where we are looking at the rest of the world and seeing what does the rest of the world need from us? What can we provide the rest of the world? And I've been talking about the exchange of value, saying that Africa has resources that we have to package and we have to export to the rest of the world, such that what we get from the rest of the world is an exchange for value. But let me talk about charity. Let me talk about Africa being a charitable continent. Africa being a giver of charity, not a recipient of charity. Now, I want to start by saying that Africa has been giving charity since the 1700s. Now, what is charity? How does charity look like? Charity is when you see someone and you have pity on them because they don't have what you have, and you decide to share what you have with them so they can have something as well. Now, Africa has been doing that for many years, because for many years we have taken from our resources and we have blessed the rest of the world. We have given the world our gold, our diamonds. We have given them our timber. We've given them our land. We have given them our cotton, our copper. We have given them our coltan, so they can actually make electric cars. Africa has been giving from the beginning, and we have given more than we have received back, and that's the definition of charity. When you give more than what you receive back. Now, you can say that when you give in charity, you get this, fuzzy feeling of happiness because you have given. But let's go back to the real understanding of what is a charitable transaction. A charitable transaction is, I am giving to you from the abundance of what I have, so you can have some and I can keep some. Now, we also know that irrespective of how much resources have been taken out of Africa, Africa still has way more than it has ever given for all its lifetime of giving. So we are standing in a dispensation today. We are in a time when Africa still has so much more to give to the rest of the world than we need from the rest of the world. And we know that the net giving in Africa has always been positive. Africa has always given more to the world than the charity that we get. Look at the statistics. Our outflows, the money that flows out of Africa going to the rest of the world, even today, is way more than we receive in charity and donations combined. So this is a very charitable continent. So when I see people worried that the United Nations has stopped sending charity to Africa, I get really bothered because what I'm seeing is a country that needs a lot, like the United States. They need a lot. They need a lot of resources for their industries. They need a lot of raw materials for their industries. And they're stopping to send money to Africa. And my question is, what do we have that we can package in Africa to actually replace the aid that we've been getting? When you add up the money, I think I was adding up the money the other day, and I found out that some countries in East Africa have been receiving like 1% of their national budget coming from the USA. 1%. We're talking about 1%. 1% of $1 billion is like $10 million. It's not a lot of money that we've been receiving from USAID. Now, we can't say that money hasn't been helpful, because this is money from the American people. These are generous people that have decided to take out of the abundance of their resources and share with us here in Africa. And I understand why a lot of Americans are angry about it, because this is their generosity that is being challenged. This is them being stopped from being generous. And a lot of people take pride in being generous. Now, I understand that. But on the flip side, when people say, oh, Africa's dead, we're going to be in trouble because USAID has stopped giving us money, that is absolutely not true. Because you can't tell me that a continent that has layers and layers of wealth cannot organize itself and replace the money that has stopped coming. That is absolutely not true. You see, last time we talked about the decolonization of the mind, right? The decolonization of the mind. All I have to do is to make you believe that you survive on my charity, and if I stop sending you charity, you are going to die. If I can make you believe that, then I will stop you from looking around and discovering ways to actually replenish yourself or keeping yourself going. It's the war of the mind. And last time we talked about the scramble and partition of the mind. And I said that what we have in Africa today is an independent Africa in terms of land and army and all that. We don't have Europeans coming to occupy our land, but we have a lot of people coming to occupy our mind, taking a portion of our mind, making us think in a way that we are not supposed to think. And the classic example is this USAID money, right? This USAID money is absolutely easily replaceable by every country in Africa that is serious about organizing its resources and its people. It's not a lot of money. Do the math. Just do the math. It's not a lot of money. You see a lot of USAID cars, flying around the African cities, but really when you add up the budget, it's not a lot of money. It's absolutely replaceable. And yes, we are sad because the projects that have been funded, have abruptly been stopped, and a lot of people suffering that have been benefiting from that charity. But it's a lesson in history, right? This is a lesson in history to tell us that we cannot become a continent of charity. We cannot continue to become a continent that is baby-fed by the rest of the world. We cannot live on waiting. We cannot be a damsel in waiting for somebody to come and woo us and save us and take us to the next level. No, we have to take ourselves to the next level. And I'm telling the youth of Africa that you are the one who has to take yourself to the next level. No one is coming to save you. Yes, there has been a lot of people, amazing people, well-intentioned people from all over the world that have come to help build schools, pay tuition. And we thank them. We absolutely thank every charitable, kind person that has helped Africa. And that help, those donations have made a big difference. But those donations cannot take us out of poverty. Absolutely not. You have to be absolutely unable to compute numbers in economics to say that charity can take Africa out of poverty. It cannot do that. What is going to take us out of poverty is for us to build value, to create value, to convert the resources that we have into valuable, packageable materials that we can exchange on the global market, on the local market, and create resources for ourselves. That is what takes us out of poverty. And I want to say that true independence is about decolonizing Africa's mind. True independence is not about decolonizing the land. True independence is about decolonizing the African mind and also decolonizing Africa's politics. And I think that's a sore conversation when we talk about breaking free from mental and political colonization. You see, the difference between the political colonization that we have today and the political colonization that we had back in the 18 and the early 1900s is that colonization was about territory. It was about land. It was about gold and diamonds and resources. Now, what we have today is not a colonization of land. What we have today is a colonization of the mind and a colonization of politics. And I want to explain that. What is a colonization of politics? A colonization of politics is for a nation to order its politics, to order its laws, to order to fashion itself after another, or to be dictated by another in the way it should run its politics. It's for another to decide who becomes president. It's for another to decide who stops becoming president. It's for another to meddle into the politics of the local people and tell them what to do. So they are not actually able to do what they want to do, but they do what other people want them to do. And we have to come to a point in Africa where we say we want to be at the table where value is being exchanged, and we want to run our politics in a way that works for our language, our culture, our people, our resources, and our economics. We have to come to that point. And until we come to that point, we are basically talking about a yoke of politics. A yoke of politics is simple. Your politics is not run by you. It's run by another force that works behind the scenes. And we see that happening everywhere today. So how do we break free? How do we build value? We build value by breaking free from the colonization of the mind. And that has to happen. And when you look at I come from East Africa, right? So I'm in the middle of East Africa here. And I'm surrounded by Rwanda and Burundi and Congo and Uganda. And the geopolitics that is happening here is not a politics of these nations. It's actually a politics where each of these nations is being meddled in. And some nations are saying, okay, we'll do what the rest of the world is telling us to do. And other nations are saying, no, we want to do that. We want to do what our people want. And such nations are going to be punished if they are not doing what the rest of the world does. But we have to come to a point when we say we are taking the punishment in order for us to be free. We are paying the price for freedom. So we have to come to a place where not only is the land decolonized, but the mind is decolonized. The politics is decolonized. And next time I'll talk about the colonization of education. Our education system needs to be decolonized so it works for us. Otherwise, we are going to continue to be under a yoke of colonization, not of the land, but of the mind.